then you know that it's there's gonna be fire.
Well, it's continuing. I just continuing this and finish what I was talking about. Oh, so I was going to talk about my training in the military, because, you know, like I said. Oh, and then like I was talking about the house with the choices that you had to make. Oh, the choices, when you're given a bunch of bad choices. See, like when I popped myself in that little playhouse in the backyard, I thought the only way I was going to come out of there, because I wasn't getting up on my own volition, I thought the only way I was going to get out of the playhouse is for them to take me out feet first in the body bag. I was like, because I'm not leaving. That was my whatever you call it. That was the position I took. I ain't getting up. I'm not going to use my own strength and rise to my feet and put one foot in front of the other and walk out of that gate. Because I know that's farther and farther away from my children. I'm not leaving because of what the judge said. If you want me out of this place, you're going to have to get me out of here feet first in a body bag. That was my position. So I ain't know any other choice. Like I say, rocking a hard place, I'm going to choose my hard place. One option was to get up and leave because the judge said so. The other one was for them to take me out of here feet first in the body bag. I chose feet first in the body bag. Anyway, he called 911 and they dragged me out of there. And that's me. People might say, it was terrible. No, that was the better option. I'd rather to have gotten dragged out of there like they did. Drag me out of there, put me in the back of the car, brought me to the hospital for evaluation. Then they released me. And then that's when I took up residence. That's when I took up residence in the bush. So that was the best of bad choices. So, you know, I never considered the option of 911 and the people dragging me out, put me in a car. I thought I was going to go out feet first in the body bag. So you see what I'm saying? Sometimes you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You ain't got nothing but bad choices. And so sometimes options come into play that you didn't know about. And that's one I didn't know about. So that's why I'm still here today. Because I ain't die in the backyard in that playhouse. I was prepared to. But anyway, this one, what is that? Because I wanted to see what the one when they said if you something, you get another government. If the government not doing what you want to do, then you get another government. I think it's one of those that start around the world or something. Because that's what I say. I'm trying to get another government. I did everything I was supposed to do, going to the courts and playing by all the rules, law-abiding, taxpaying citizens all my life. Then things went a while, and so once they didn't give me what I was supposed to do, give me my kids back, then I'll take my kids, go somewhere else, go to another country, raise my children. But anyway, so, what I'm talking about doing in the military, all that training, all the time, you be out there in the woods. How many times the world is asleep? Everybody in the country sleep, except us, up in the morning for the rising of the sun. And you out there doing those runs, 1 mile, no sweat, 2 miles, better yet. So all that training, and then you not only that, you got the who goes there? Put your weapon, advance to be recognized. Put your weapon on the ground and take 2 steps back. So then you come up here and then you look at the ID. If you recognize them and they're friendly, then you go on, pass through. But if you don't recognize them, that's enemy. And then you got rules of engagement when you got enemy. So if I tell Reggie to advance to be recognized, and I don't recognize him, and I didn't, then there's rules of engagement. Then you got to figure what they are. But anyway, that's that. And so you got those things, that kind of training. You got all the, what they call it, leadership reaction course, obstacle courses, all those things that you're learning how to do. Then the other thing you got is the land math. You got map in one hand, compass in the other hand, and you got a beads around your neck so you can count your paces, so you can keep track of where you're going and stuff, so you know when you get to your points. And so you do all that kind of stuff. And you're doing it whether it's cold, whether it's rainy, whether it's hot out there, all of that kind of weather was no determinant whether you're going to do that land now. Sometimes you did it in the day, sometimes you did it at night. And so then I'm saying that because here you go wandering around in these woods, not knowing where you're at, and all this brush, trying to find your points, checkpoints. And then they got this psychological warfare going on in your head. They got this on the big megaphone. They're telling you to come in. Come, join us. We'll take care of you. We know you're hungry. We know you're tired. You're sleepy. Come on in. Come. Join us. yes, we'll take care of you. All this stuff going on over the big megaphone, and that's all good, because you know you can stop, you can go on in, you know there's hot chocolate or a cup of hot soup if it's you know if it's cold weather, or you know in the heat there's something nice cool for you to drink and stuff like that. You know you can get a blanket or whatever, be comfortable. But 10 out of 10 times, 100% of the time, you didn't stop. You didn't join them. You stayed out there in whatever conditions it was, making it from checkpoint to checkpoint, so you can write down your points and accomplish the mission. Now here you come between 2 points. You walk down through these woods until you get there, and then there's a point here and there's a point there. Which one is yours? So now you got to figure that out. You got to use your compass. You got to use your back azimuth. You got to use triangulation. So do whatever you got to do, looking at your map to find out which point is most likely to be yours. And so you can write the right number down and accomplish that and make it on to your next point. So you're going through all this. And all this is training. And all that, when you're out there with that miles gear and going through that, CS chambers, just a whole bunch of stuff. Sometimes you got to get down on the ground and crawl under things, low crawling, getting all dirty. Yeah, you'd rather be home, but you're in training. So you got to do these things. And it's all good. I mean, once you get through all that and you get home and comfortable and take your bath and, you know, get all comfortable in your sheets and, you know, eat your ice cubes or grapes or whatever, you reflect on that and then you get that feeling of accomplishment. But you see, that was all training. Anybody called you crazy and it wasn't even for real. It was just training. But anybody called you crazy, anybody gave you a diagnosis, because that was what you were supposed to do. But then when you do it for real, when I'm out here faced with this stuff, people trying to rob my children of everything that their parents had their forefathers, the ancestors, had done for them, all the sacrifices made, now they call you crazy. Now they give you a diagnosis. And so like I was saying, I think I started saying earlier, we don't even recognize oppression. Everything was handed to us by everything these people did in the 60s and before. All the black people that died back in the early days, you know, back in the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, all of them, what they say, strange fruit hanging from trees. How many of them people probably didn't need to die? But they did because the fathers had to step up, the fathers or the brothers or even maybe some husbands even cared enough when their wife was disrespected by the Caucasian. Because see, we weren't thought of as people. We were like animals. We had no rights to our bodies, women, and even age wasn't a limitation either. So how many fathers and how many brothers and maybe, like I say, even husbands, I can't imagine that with the kind I had, one I had, Reggie wouldn't have stepped up for me. But anyway, how many of them ended up being a strange fruit hanging from a tree because they had to step in? But anyway, oh, you know what I'm talking about. And so all this stuff was handed to us. We didn't have to go through that when we were born, like the big 64, 65, 66. We didn't have to go through none of that segregation, all that. That was already done before us. So when we're oppressed, we don't even recognize it. My children were oppressed. These kids were given albatrosses hung around their necks, taking away advantages that were given to them, and didn't even have any representation in court. I mean, you talk about them people, Child Protective Services and all those people. That wasn't representation for my kids. Them people, that was kangaroo court. Them people already knew what they were going to do. They were going to give my children to the grandmother because she's the one over there with the victim, making all the victim noises and stuff. And so they want to make me pay, and then they won't give her the kids because, everybody wants justice for the dead man. But so these are things from my perspective, and then watching Grandma Rock, just bring it all to forefront. Another perspective that I want to present to you. You just don't go out here and just go with flows and count losses. Because our country, I'm telling you, because that family album, that's all well and good. It's a cute little story, but it's not to say it don't represent us. We came over here on slave ships, and we ain't come over here from Russia and didn't have the father's hat and satchel or none of that kind of stuff. But anyway, the people say here on one of these things. If your government doesn't represent you, then you find another government. And I agree with that, you know. If you ain't getting representation, then you need to find another government. And that's what the Revolutionary War is all about. These people want to act right, taxation without representation. So they go out here and they get themselves another government. But that's all I got to say about this. I guess there's more to be said. I guess I don't mind keep saying the same old thing. Because I'm going to just go, this is my reality. And they say, unless you walked a mile in my shoes, you can't judge me. So that's why I went through some of the things. That's why I was talking about my training and stuff in the military and all that. I went through all that training to protect my country. So when it came to you can stay in these austere conditions and be closer to your children, or you can get farther away from your children and go home and get in the comfortable bed and stuff, I'm going to choose the austere conditions. I don't mind. I did it in the military. It's normal for me. And like you up there in the morning for the ride in the sun, everybody else sleep, and you out there, you can't even see the people next to you. It's so dark out there, but you're still out there to train, whether no matter what it is. Sometimes it's a land nav, sometimes it's PT, who knows, but whatever it is, you up and you out and you're ready to do it. And that's what it's all about. I ain't got no problem. If I had to do it all over again, I would. I think the military give you a sense of organization and discipline. Everything in my life, pretty much, I've chosen to be disciplined. Meaning, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but like karate, you gotta have discipline in order to do that. Like, you know, the military, you gotta have discipline in order to do that. You gotta have organization. You know, you gotta have your act together. You know, and stuff like that. So I choose all that. And so same thing. So to me, when people want to screw around with your children's lineage, you know, what it's gonna look like when you make your family tree, I don't want it all jumbled up and raggedy. I don't want. But anyway, that's all part of how I see things. You know, you look at these things from different perspectives and stuff like that. Now, if I didn't have the training that I had, more likely, I probably would not have been out there in the bush. I wouldn't have been there. Why? I've been scared. But I had the training. I wasn't scared. I'm thankful for all the taxpayer dollars that trained me. Maybe they wasn't training me for a real war, because I ain't never been down. I never been to a real war. I've never been deployed. But I did have to fight these demons. When these people come up into my children's lives and want to play these foolish games, and I ain't got and I'm stuck between rocks and hard places, I gotta rise to the occasion. I can't just throw all my training out the door, go home crying, sleeping in a comfortable bed when I know all this stuff is going on. I'm gonna be where I need to be. I'm gonna be closer to my children. If that means going out in a body bag, that means sleeping in the backyard until the man say I can't. But you know, that's another thing too. Another reason why all this came down is because I wanted Reggie to be who he said he was going to be. You allow a person to be who they say they're going to be, let them show not me, but let them show the Lord who they are. Because the man on the knees every day, 2-3 times a day, praying, you know, you got that Lord prayer, forgive us our trespasses, that we forget those who trespass against us. So let the Lord see his grace. Here he think I done trespassed against him because I ain't want to go with flows and count losses. So let's see his mercy and let's see his grace. So that when he show up at the pearly gate, God will know, okay, well, this is how you handle the ones I gave you, and this is the way you forgave them. Well, this is the way I'm going to give you exactly what you gave them. So you let people be who they say they are. Do what they say they're going to do. Just like that man, like that stalker I had. Like I said, I told you about it several videos ago. Man calling my answer machine, clogging it up, telling me all these things he going to do and what he want to do and all that. And so what I'm going to do is show up in his neighborhood. Because what I didn't want, I didn't want him jumping out of a bush or from behind a tree when I'm walking on my way to work in the dark. You know, because it get dark. Sometimes I had to go to work early, and he worked, or when I was coming home, because, you know, in the wintertime, it get dark at about 5 or 6 o'clock. So he can jump out of the bush or from behind a tree, because I had to walk through the park. And I didn't want him surprising me. So I'm going to show up in your neighborhood and give you the opportunity to be who you say you are, do what you say you're going to do, so we can meet face to face, toe to toe, and get this out of your system. If you got something you want to do to me, then here the hell I am. Same thing with this regular Terrence Singleton. He wants the Lord to forgive him the way he would forgive those who trespassed against him. So here I am at your mercy. I'm begging to come home and raise our children, because these children were made in love and purposefully, so that they could be the pitter-patter of little feet around our house. And then now you done change your mind and you want to go in a whole new direction. And I am not with that. I go against it. So what you can do is bury me. And that's what he could have done. He could have put my black derriere in the ground and gone off and sail off into the sunset with somebody. Or he can forgive and put this situation back in order. Or convince me that me and my kids are better off without him. Because like I say, not everybody can choose. Not everybody needs to be in a situation till death do us part. Some people need to go in separate directions. But when you come into a contract, you both got to agree. You can't just go off and make this unilateral decision. But anyway, I think this is why I was trying to talk, because I wanted to see. This is the one where they say you got to get another government. Let me see if that's the one. But this is a British. This is an independent war. I like this. Anyway, I just get running up the time on them because it's 16 minutes. I don't see, like, I just go over these videos and talk about stuff. And, these people talk about this pandemic, and these people go out here, they get so stressed out. They talk about we got to have these screaming sessions. I'm like, that is just so crazy. Why people got to scream? Why they can't just stay home and scream? You worry about the pandemic, then you go get in a circle of people where everybody opening their mouth to scream. Everybody open their mouth to scream. Anybody got the virus, you put yourself at risk. You gotta scream, stay home. I don't know, maybe I don't feel like everybody about the pandemic. I ain't worried about the pandemic. Their lights in their eyes. But anyway, I try to see. But we went through, a lot of stuff as black folks, and then just being Americans, we had come through a whole lot of stuff, and it ain't about people sitting around counting losses and going with flows. So I don't understand why people won't come up with that. Take your son, report to General Washington. We got our rights. For the admiration. Like France and Spain. Who owned the colony ships and guns and put the British on the room and the Continental Army on its feet again. And though they lost some battles too, the Americans swore they see it through. Their raiding parties kept up hit and run. At Yorktown, the British could not retreat, followed up by Washington and the French fleet. Cornwallis surrendered, and finally we had one. I love my country. The strength of the revolution. What did it say? Do my country love me? I don't think so. God bless America. Let freedom ring. Preamble. Hey! Let me tell you about the USA. Do you know about the government? Let me tell you about the Constitution. Hey! Tell you about the USA. In 1787, I told our founding fathers, the greatest, my favorite one. It's the principles, keeping people free. The USA was just starting out a brand new country. And so our people spelled it out that we should be.
And they put those principles down on paper and called it the Constitution. And it's been helping us run our country ever since then. The first part of the Constitution Constitution is called the preamble and tells what those founding fathers set out to do.
We the people, to form a more perfect. They didn't include us when they were saying that. They had to make an amendment to include black folks in the we the people part. But that's okay. For the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. To ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers still sat down to write a list of principles that's known the world around. USA was just starting out a whole brand new country. And so what people spelled it out, the land of liberty.
And the preamble goes
like this. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. To ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. The United States of America. I like the elbow room too. I'm going to turn this off. One thing you will discover when you get next to one another. Everybody needs some elbow room. It's nice when you take a to that now. When you tangle nose to nose. Everybody needs something. Everybody look elbow room. In the early days of the USA. The East was the only place that wanted to go. The president was Thomas Jefferson. He made a deal. How'd you like to a mile or 2 or 3 or 100 or 1,000? So easy. Yeah, the territory was sold to us without a fuss. Oh, elbow room. Got to get some elbow room. This is west of us. In God we trust. There's a new land out there. The West End Clark volunteered to go. They volunteered. They didn't know they were going, but they volunteered. The good time and the bad. And the bad. The higher. That good Julia to be the guy. She let them. They found the most elbow room they ever had. Lewis went up with bravery. Inland rights was meant to be. Manifest destiny. See, my parents too. They ain't go with the flow kind of people. Just count losses. They left Louisiana and came all the way to up north to try and find a better life for themselves and for their kids. Had all that segregation down south. They went north. They weren't just gonna stay put. So anyway, so it's not just in me to take away or take all my training, throw it away, and go home and make victim noises, cry on my pillow, dance in or cry in my soup, or drown myself in sorrow, drugs, and alcohol. Not in me. There should ever come a time. Let me tell you something. They're going to the moon. You know when they had that Mars One project? That when everybody was going to go one-way trip to Mars and get no pods and populate Mars? I volunteered to go. I wanted to go, but you know, I didn't qualify. You know, 'cause mental illness and a criminal record. So they would have put me out there. So anyway, hold the story. Bye.